fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. We are on part 5 of the Colonial Mandalorian armor build. You recognize that guy? It really, I wish you could see the glistening of the metallic flake that is just, I'm going to figure it out. We're going to get some close-ups maybe, but it's just, it makes me happy. I also added a purple stripe on the one because I gotta have my purple in there somewhere. I mean, come on. And so this is kind of an homage to the commander shoulder pauldrons or shoulder pieces that the clone troopers used to wear. I think that's a reasonable or not. That's what I wanted to do. But we're working specifically on the jetpack portion of it. And that's the first. So basically what we needed to do, we needed to get it on the back first. And I had drawn a line in Sharpie on the top, on the bottom, marking my center. But I realized that that wasn't going to be good enough because I had already put some primer on there. And I couldn't see my center line anymore. So what I did was I had a little piece of half-round styrene that I glued onto the center line to the top and the bottom, right? And since these were symmetrical halves on the back, all I had to do was line it up to my center on there. Now I've got some holes set in there. I've got 2 at the top, 3 at the bottom. That way I don't get any sideways wobble. But I think I'm still going to put some bigger bolts on the side. I'm still going to have to work on that. But this gets us to the point where we can actually, since the holes are marked there, I can actually pull this back off and start working on this. The main thing I want to do is get the rockets glued down on here, and then this whole base portion can get painted. So that's what we're gonna work on today. We're gonna get this going. So what's going here in the center is going to be the Cylon Raider model, and I've already drilled holes in that, and I got it marked here. So past me is going to help future me by going ahead and pre-drilling these holes, because even if I use self-tapping screws later, having a pilot hole already in there is going to definitely be helpful. Future mediocre modeler will thank me, I hope. I've marked my rockets. I want them to be 1 inch down. So I've got them both marked. Yes, I know. Sorry. So I've got them marked 1 inch down, and I want to center it on this particular square. I sanded it down, so I've got, I'm down to the plastic on these, so my plastic adhesive is going to be, I'm going to be bonding plastic to plastic. Let's see here. And once I get it down, those two, give it a little bit of on, set it, and then we're going to put a little bit of weight on it. Not that it necessarily needs the weight, but what's it going to hurt? So, what we're going to do, I'm going to flip you around like this. Alright. Also put a little pencil mark on here so I know where to put the glue. I don't know why I'm having apprehension about it. I guess maybe because it's like once you glue it, it's there. It's permanent. We're just gonna do it. Just gonna get it done. Open the garage door for ventilation. Do it. Everything's flat level. Nothing's in the way. Use our Gorilla Glue. Okay, now we're going to wait 15 minutes. Let's see what happens. After I got it glued the last time, I just didn't feel right about it, and I double checked because I just wasn't sure that they were level across the top, and sure enough they weren't. So I had to take the one off, and it was actually easier. One was glued on. All I did was set it on the table, put the other one, had the glue already on there, and I was off by just a hair, and just got them on there, and then put the level to make sure. Well, I made sure the table was level, the bench was level first. Then when I put them on there, and I could level the top, and we're good to go. Now they're one piece. All right. So there were a couple of things I wanted to do. When I did test it, like I said, on the sides, I wanted to make sure the whole back surface of it is pulled up against the back of the armor. So I needed to have a plate inside there. I'm going to use this soft poplar and just cut myself a little plate out, drill some holes, and use T-nuts, and that way I can go on ahead and run the screws in from the other side. Yeah, and then so once I get that inner plate in there, I can just glue it in place, and it'll just live in there. So all I have to do is just set it on and run the screws in and out from the inside the vest. So I'm going to tackle that real quick. The next step in the process is to get the wings on to the jetpack. If you remember, the Vipers had a little stripe on there, so I've prepped this with some orange, so I'll have an orange stripe on either side. I want to make sure that the wings on either side are at the same angle. So I made myself a little jig, and all I'm going to do is just get it on there and just set it there just long enough for it to, it just needs to just hold it there. I'm going to prep it with some of the Gorilla Glue, and then we'll just set it there so the angle is set, and then we'll flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. If there was a point at which you wanted to add electronics or some kind of a smoke chamber or lights, something like that, and trust me, I've thought of all those things. Now would be the time to do it. But we're trying to keep this simple, and we're just ready for, okay, let me back that up. The reason I say that is we've got our inner plate on there, we've got the bottom plate of the Cylon Raider, and the top that you are going to see is getting ready to go on there. I'm just cleaning up my masking. This is where we are so far, right? This guy's going to go like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my tape there, get this glued in place, and then at that point we're going to get a coat of gray on here. Moving on to the next step in the process, and that is doing some accent painting. Painting some, once we got the gray done, getting some more paints on other parts of it to make it pop out. Want to see it? Of course you do. There we go. So I've already got a little bit of weathering done. I couldn't help myself. But I've added a couple of extra pieces, things we still need to do. Okay, so not thinking, I started weathering it, forgetting that I still have my Viper wing stripes to take off. And then the fuselage nozzles need to also be painted too. So we've got that to do. But we also, I wanted to add the copper tubing I was talking about that I found over at Mom and Dad's house. This is refrigerator tubing, and like I said, nothing looks like metal than metal. So I wanted to add a little bit of something in there to just kind of bring it out. So I've got one already attached, and I've got the other side ready to go on. The thing about it is I'm thinking about this from a plumbing perspective, in so much as I don't want to put kinks in the tubing to where normally you would have fluid flowing through there, and you don't want to kink it because you're reducing the flow. Well, there's no flow here. And what I always forget is every little mark or dent or whatever I make on here helps to sell the story that this is something that has been well used. So I had to kind of get myself out of that mindset. But we just need to put the second one on here, then we can peel off our tape and do some more weathering, because it definitely needs a wash. I think it needs a wash, and I want to do I'm going to go ahead and do the wash before I do the bottom of the nozzles, because they're just going to be like flat black anyway. Maybe some gunmetal, something metallic with the very bottom of it being black. So let me get this on here, and need to make a hole. Got got my drill on low because I just don't want to blast through the plastic. Going to use the old Unibit to make my hole, so I can actually thread my fitting into the plastic. To thread it, we're just going to take, say, what is this, a 7/16 socket, and we're going to use the drill to just cut threads into the plastic. There you go. I think this is sticking up just a little bit high. I'm going to cut about maybe a ½ inch off of here. Bring it down just a hair. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. So we're all set up to do a clear coat on top of what weathering we've got done here. I already went on ahead and taped off the bottom of here, so I did a coat of the flat black, and then just on the very tops I did a light semi-gloss bright gunmetal to give it like a little bit of a metallic look, and then with the flat black at the bottom, you know, as it heats up, and then soot from whatever fuel they're burning. As far as what I've used so far, the tops of the rocket are done in a African mustard, and then I used both the panel line accent colors, the black and the brown, to put some stain runs down there. What I did find, I put some up here on the top, and whatever, and these are acrylic? No? I don't know. Anyway, it started to pull some of the paint off, so I stopped where I was. But it did do a good job of making some paint runs and stains, getting a good thing going. I wanted to pull off my tape here, and I didn't want to do it without you getting the benefit of the ooh, ah. So, it's ooh and ah. That's looking good. That's looking good. Come on. There you go. Okay, that's worthy of an ooh. I like that. I like that. We're going to take that other one off here. Yeah. We're telling a story now, buddy. Oh, that looks so good. Okay. Come on. What are you fighting for? Oh, we we got something going now. Alright. I'm going ahead and give it a coat of clear to kind of lock that in before we do anything else. Hey, remember this guy? Yeah, this is the paint that we use to weather our leather foam armor vest. So the reason I used the Tupperware or whatever was so that I could reconstitute it, just added a bunch of water, and I'm going to use the same paint that I weathered the leather with to weather the Jetpack with. And it's really, really watery. But we're just going to put it on. Put it on and take it right back off. Let it just look horrific. Hopefully this will hide some of my crimes. Any mistakes that I made when I was weathering with the other stuff. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to use this on the helmet too. Okay, I think it's sufficiently scunged up. But, unfortunately, we're at that point again where, being that's a water-based wash that I did, I need it to dry. And it is 46 degrees outside, which means here in the garage it's probably somewhere around 65, 66. I really want this to dry, and then I need to put another clear coat on it. So that makes us wait again. And I really wanted to get to the marriage between the Jetpack and the body armor. But we have to wait. Yes, I know. I'm going to get you some really good close-up pictures of what we've got going on here so far. But you know what time it is. It's time for you to go build something. Like and subscribe. We've got Instagram, we've got YouTube, we got Facebook, and we're even working on trying to do a little bit of live streaming. But until then, until we meet again, have fun, be safe, and go build something. Pew 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 pew.